Okay. Hello, beautiful souls. It's me again. Have to admit, I'm a little bit overwhelmed at the how well received my last message was. Um, I just want to say it's such a privilege for me to be able to do what I do and witnessing people growing and expanding and changing their lives and becoming more positive and self-empowered. It just truly is such a privilege. And I'm thankful that I can do this. Um, Initially, it was, okay, I've been dragged kicking and screaming to do this. Very difficult for me to put myself out here publicly like this. And I agreed because I figured even if it helped one person, it was worth it. And some of the conversations, calls I've received since doing the video on Wednesday morning, they've just been so beautiful. I've been so overwhelmed. And again, tears of joy. I've been very emotional. And shortly after I went live the other day, I was speaking to a friend on the phone, and I was like, oh my God, I was a nervous wreck, I'm shaking like a leaf. And just really strongly, Spirit just said, no, Amanda, you were vibrating so high that your physical body was shaking with the sheer force of the power flowing through you. And I am not unique in this. This is available to all of us. And sometimes we feel that beautiful divine energy flowing through us, but we fear it. And, we get anxious because we've been conditioned to always look through the lens of fear and the heavier frequencies and anxiety and worry and what could go wrong. But I want to ask you, take a moment and ask yourself, how does it feel to ask yourself, how would it be if things went right? What if everything went well? And that's something I forgot to do before I dived in the deep end. And wow, things went well. I was so worried about negative comments and backlash and people sneering at me and calling me weird. Never entered my head how wonderful this could actually be. Now, Spirit are asking me to talk about the law of attraction, and its relation to our feelings and how we feel. Now, for a long time, I'd heard about the law of attraction. Most of us have. However, we don't always fully understand it because we don't fully understand ourselves. And we really need to start tuning back into how we feel. Most of us have been very wounded and hurt with traumas from, back as far as childhood and, various stages to our lives. And then, big girls don't cry, big boys don't cry. We're kind of conditioned not to pay attention to our feelings and, tough it up, strengthen up, And yes, that attitude can really help us in serious situations when we're under stress. Sometimes you need to be able to shelve your emotions so you can act. But we've become a society now where we're kind of in that fight and flight mode all the time. We're always anxious and worried, so we're shutting out our feelings and we're always thinking we're going to be hurt. We're looking through the lens of fear all the time. And it's that fear of getting hurt is stopping people from welcoming in all of their dreams and desires. Because when we're fearful and we're anxious and we're worried, we're vibrating in the heavier frequencies. That's why we feel weighted down and we feel the burdens of the world on our shoulders. Whereas, if we just realize that we don't have to keep our focus there, we don't have to be tuned into that frequency. It's like a radio dial. You can't listen to 98 FM if your dialer is tuned into FM 104 and vice versa. This is all actually quite simple. It just takes a little bit of practice. So, how we feel, I mentioned the last day. It's really important. It's like an internal sat nav. So, when things feel good and we're happy, we feel high. Think about it. You get a natural high when you're having fun and life just feels wonderful and you feel enthusiastic and you have energy and you have passion for life. But when we tune our little radio dial and tune into the heavier frequencies like fear, anxiety, worry, blame, shame, guilt, all of those kind of, icky feeling things. They feel heavier. They weigh us down. It's like, ugh, I don't like being here. And as I mentioned in the first video, we actually have the power to choose. You can't always change your circumstances, but you can change how you view it and how you feel about it. Now, these magnets, they're a wonderful little tool. And they say a picture paints 1,000 words. Now, I'm hoping a video can do the same. Everything is about polarity, energy. There's two ends to the stick of things, And again, we can feel high or we feel low, high vibrational or low vibrational. And again, frequencies all around us. It's not so much good and bad or, good versus dull. It's lighter versus heavier, higher versus lower. And, when we pay attention to our own frequency and how we feel, am I feeling good? Because if I'm feeling icky, there's a better way. That's my soul, my divine aspect, the God consciousness coming through. It's your soul letting you know, there's a better way. There's another option, or there's another way of perceiving this. You do not have to receive that. And these magnets I usually use when I'm showing people. I usually use my little round ones, but I realised, that's okay when somebody can feel it. And as soon as you can't feel it, I'm after choosing my hematite magnets that are, sorry, I'm so bad with technology, I don't even know where the camera is. I'll try and tilt that maybe a little bit. So these are hematite and they're magnetized. So, and they're quite strong magnets. So law of attraction. When you're in alignment with your desires, whatever way your frequency is, you draw to you like a magnet, law of attraction, what vibration you were offering. And so it pulls the magnet to you. Now, if you're using positive words and affirmations, which you believe, and again, I have done this, I've finally learned this lesson for myself. When you want something you desire, and you're putting out the positive energy, I'm going to find my wonderful new home or get my perfect car, or, I just want to have a nice day. But if you're putting that out there in positive words, but you're feeling, oh, it's not here yet, or I can't afford it, or I can't have it, the universe is responding to what you're feeling, not what you're saying. And that's why sometimes people are getting so frustrated. I tried all that, law of attraction stuff. It doesn't work. I was doing my positive affirmations. I was doing my vision boards. And yes, that's wonderful. But what a lot of us are misunderstanding and not realizing, we actually have to send out the frequency of what we desire. We need to line up so we can receive it. And then universe just brings it to us as fast as possible. Now, what happens when we're using the positive words, but we're using the heavier, denser frequencies because that's what we're feeling, then it's like these are repelling each other now, and it's difficult to see. And I'll try and turn it around the opposite side. Now they're totally pushing each other. I'm trying to put them together. Now, if I let this go, see the way it turns around and it goes to the polarity. So again, what is letting go? For a lot of years, I was so frustrated because I wanted to let go of my traumas. I wanted to let go of my anger and my rage at the world and all the pain and the hurt and the depression and all those heavy frequencies. And I spent a lot of years going, I'm trying, because I didn't understand what it meant to let go. And what my angels and guides have been teaching me lately, again, most important also, is breath. When we start feeling overwhelmed and anxious, food is important to us, and we all talk about nutrition and keeping our bodies healthy. Water is more important. After a few days, we can't survive without water. But air is vital. We cannot survive more than a couple of minutes without air. And yet most of us aren't even aware that we are not breathing properly. We have become a society so stressed, we don't even notice we're shallow breathing. And shallow breathing is a stress response. So I'm just asking to maybe bring your awareness to, are you breathing properly? And sometimes when we're in an overwhelming situation and we can feel panic building, you can just pause just for a moment and take 3 deep, conscious breaths. So again, really tune in and imagine you're breathing in your own calm and sense of wellness and well-being. And the breath you're breathing out is all the heavier frequencies that don't feel good to you. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is, how do I feel right now? And if I'm feeling a little bit icky in the heavier frequencies, that means there is a better feeling option. There is a better way. That is your soul letting you know there is a better way, a better feeling way, a more uplifting way. And you can trust that it will come to you. And all you have to do is pay attention to how you're feeling and always reach for that better feeling option, choice, thing, there's always something. And when we're raising our vibration in that manner, and again, you can't go from feeling suicidally depressed to bounce off the wall happy in the click of a finger. But you can go, what would feel a little bit better right now? Maybe I'll open the window, let some fresh air in. Perhaps I'll light a candle. I like candles. Pretty. And the sight of the flame makes me feel warm and calm and at peace. Or maybe it would be, burn some essential oils. Or put on some nice music. What's your favourite song? People talk about, oh, I can't meditate. I'm so stressed. And do you know what? Meditation isn't all about sitting silent, cross-legged, going on. Meditation can be putting on your favourite song. A song that makes you feel good. It doesn't have to be a meditation song. It just needs to be something that you associate with the feeling good energies, the high vibration frequencies. Like everybody has a song that makes them smile inside. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be the same what other people are doing. It's personal to you. And then you can turn on that song and you can close your eyes and you can breathe consciously, slow, deep breaths. Your body knows what to do. So if you just allow your muscles and your cells to receive the oxygen they need for that calm, relaxed sense of well-being, you just breathe and you allow the music to uplift you and flow through you. I'm not asking you to listen to the music. I'm asking you to feel your favorite music. There is a difference. And most of us have pinched off our feelings because most of us have been hurt. And most of us feel that if we're vulnerable, we're going to get hurt again and we'll never survive a pain like that. But guess what? You already have. You've already been through that pain and come out the other side. A wiser, stronger, better version of you because of that painful experience. I'm beginning to learn that some of my most painful experiences have now become part of my greatest strength, which is my ability to have compassion and to show love and kindness. Because when you feel, that's who we naturally are. As human beings, we are naturally loving and kind, benevolent beings. So when you see somebody who's angry and acting out, stop for a moment. Don't be so quick to judge and label them as evil or bad, because that is not in our nature. Stop for a moment and go, oh, that poor soul. I wonder what could be going on with them. that has them living and feeling like that. Because, through law of attraction, we are actually creating our own realities. And if we are focused on, fear and illness and things that make us worried and anxious, the more we tune our little radio dial into those frequencies, the more we're calling to us more experiences of that same frequency that we don't like, which is why we're back to, and here I am repeating myself, get used to it, people. This is how I translate the frequencies that are coming through. But if we're consciously tuning into these heavy, icky feeling, lower vibrational frequencies, heavy, dense frequencies, all we're doing is calling it to ourselves. We are creators of our own reality. If you want the good feeling things to come, you have to practice keeping yourself elevated into the good feeling frequencies. And it's actually not that hard, but it does take practice. And practice makes perfect. And I can testify to this. This is working. This is changing my life miraculously. Whereas previously I'd get up in the morning and I'd be listening, I didn't even want to get out of the bed. It was such an effort just to roll out of the bed. Sometimes I wouldn't even pull the covers off. I just kind of roll out because I had so little energy, because I was so down and depressed and anxious all the time. And I started learning that if I just, instead of looking at all the things that are upsetting me and all of my problems, instead, if I just took my dial and turned it into, what things do I appreciate about my life? Oh my God, I started feeling better. Have you a roof over your head? Oh, isn't that wonderful? Are you safe and are you warm? Oh, isn't that wonderful? Lots of people are getting so angry because they're choosing to see themselves in lockdown and during restrictions as, oh, I'm confined, I'm a prisoner in my home. Instead of saying, I'm safe and well at home. It's the same situation or circumstance, but how you choose to look at it feels incredibly different. And choosing to look at it as I am safe and well at home feels so much better than going, I'm like a prisoner in my own house and I can't go anywhere and I can't do this and all my favourite things are gone and everything's shut down, and that really doesn't feel good. And even sometimes when I'm demonstrating that, I actually feel my energy dip a little and it's like, ooh, not liking that. I'm going back over to where it feels good. And I mentioned in my last video that I'm a renal patient and I have polycystic kidney disease. And this stuff, I've always had an interest. It's been calling me all my life. And there was times I'd be channeling and doing things anyway, but I shut it down because I was terrified of judgment. I was terrified of people thinking I was weird and I was a freak. And just before the first lockdown, something told me, time to just put the phone on Do Not Disturb. Just sit quietly, do some meditation. And as I mentioned, sometimes meditation can be putting on music that feels good. Closing your eyes, breathing consciously, and swaying and moving. And suddenly I noticed all of these. I've never been very visual. All of these lovely pictures and images, but I came to discover sacred symbols, sacred geometry started kind of appearing in my mind's eye. I started seeing it, and I couldn't understand. And then I kept hearing Archimedes, 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 and I'm like, what? The little owl out of the Sword and the Stone, the Disney movie? Because that's the only Archimedes I knew. And, I don't have a mathematical background. Even my education, I was so bad at maths, they put me in a special class and I still failed the final exams, like miserably. I think I got 21 or 22%. Like, that's how little understanding of mathematics I have, or had, I should say, up until that point. And I was speaking through Messenger to a Spanish student that I once hosted many years ago, and a wonderful soul. Hi, Fernando. And we kept in touch. Sometimes I see him as my Spanish son, and he's a wonderful human being. And I was telling him how I was having these unusual experiences in my meditations all of a sudden, and they seemed to be really deeper, and that I was seeing these funny images and shapes, and how it almost felt like it's a language, but not a language that we speak, a language that we feel. And he replied to me saying, Amanda, hold on a minute. What you're describing sounds to me like sacred geometry. I studied that in university last year. And he sent me links to this. I clicked on the link and I started to read. And I'm not joking you. This actually terrified me in that moment. But I got to the words universal resonance. And it was like my whole body was being electrocuted. I just started to go. Now, this terrified me because not only do I have polycystic kidney disease, but I also have a cyst in my brain on the pineal gland. So there's that element of fear. Oh my God, am I having like an aneurysms go hand in hand with polycystic kidney disease too? So, initially it's like, oh my God, into the fear frequency. Am I dying here? Do I need to call an ambulance? And I just got this sense of calm wash through me. And again, I understand now, this is Archangel Michael. He's been working with me for a long, long time. And he just reminded me that I am safe, I am loved, and I am taken care of. So the sense of calm washed through me, and I started to breathe again, and I took my dial back from that sudden zoop into the heavy frequencies that feel icky. And I turned it back to this wonderful feeling that I get when I meditate or listen to nice music that makes me feel good. I continued to read the article that wonderful Fernanda sent me. I'm so grateful for that article. Because then when I got down lower near the bottom, it mentioned somebody called Archimedes of Syracuse, who is, and again, I don't have this geometrical background or mathematical background. Go do some research. That's what I've had to do. And even when I do that, I don't retain the information because I don't understand it to articulate it, but I can feel it. I get it on another level. And I know how weird that sounds, but I don't really absorb it when I'm reading the information, like in the human technical terms, but in the feeling aspect, I grasp it. I'm not sure if I'm even making sense there. But it turns out Archimedes of Syracuse is linked to the Archimedean solids. And again, we're talking the likes of Pythagoras and all these kind of frequencies, and that's when I realized, because then I looked up the 7 Archimedean solids, and I was like, oh my God. And I had another little jolt of awareness and recognition, because what I was seeing was actually little slices, cuts of these Archimedean solids. So for me, that was such a profound moment, because it's like, oh my God, I'm not crazy. I haven't lost the plot. I don't need to be locked up in an asylum. Oh my God, I'm a channel, and Archimedes of Syracuse has just been trying to teach me sacred geometry. And basically, in essence, the language of the universe. And again, this is coming back into the feelings and how important our feelings are, because we are all vibrational beings and we translate feelings. Everything that we see, taste, touch, that's just us translating those frequencies, and we perceive them in that way. Everything is frequency. And again, I'm sure most of us have heard like people talked about colors being vibrations and, whatever, crazy people. But everything has a vibration. And there are some colors that when we look at them can kind of give you a warm feeling, or like you feel like people talk about blues being cooler and, reds and oranges being warmer. So again, frequencies. And some are heavier, some are lighter. And then, it all just started becoming clearer and clearer to me. It's all starting to make simple sense to me, because I've been walking the spiritual path for a long time, but I don't always understand the terminology that a lot of people use and some of the spiritual teachers use. So it's like, whereas I'm letting my inner child out. And like, I grasp things in a childlike way. I learn from stories. If you can give me a story and I can feel what you're trying to teach me, I learn. You could give me a book and course notes. I can read them word for word. I will understand the words, but I don't absorb it. Haven't figured out why yet. I will. It will come to me. But what I do know is I learn through story, which is what I learn through feeling. And I spent a lot of years not feeling. I even prided myself on being the ice queen. And I thought it was great that I could watch, the likes of E.T. and not cry. Now, inside, I was like, it was awful, but I would not cry because I'm stronger than that. I'm a big girl and big girls don't cry. And I've spent a lot of my life feeling awful, feeling suicidal. I've had some very challenging times. And am I beating myself up now and going, my God, you've wasted your life doing all that? No, because you know what? I appreciate the fact that I can feel good now more than ever. I now know that feeling good is the most precious thing. It's just wonderful. And that uplifts me. I now love life. And some people go, how can you? You've only just moved to a new county, miles from anyone. You're alone, you're isolated, you're in the middle of the country. Are you not terrified, alone in the dark? And it's like, no, I'm not. Because I've gotten to a point that I now have faith. And again, I'm not a religious girl. I was raised Catholic. I don't go to Mass. But do you know what? I do believe there is more. And if you're comfortable saying God or Buddha or Muhammad or the universe, it really doesn't matter. Whatever feels good to you. Because again, words are just frequencies too. But I now know, and I have full faith, that there is something bigger than all of us. But at the same time, we are aspects of it too. And some of the old teachings, to know me, know thyself. I finally understand all of this because I now know myself. I've had a very traumatic life. And as such, I didn't love myself. It affected my sense of value and self-worth. But through learning to love myself and doing mirror work, and people go, yeah, mirror work, I do that, yeah, I do that. But again, I'm not asking you to look in the mirror and see the person that you have looked at all your life. I'm asking you to take a look in the mirror and see the person that your children see, your parents see, your friends that love you see. Look for that person in the mirror. I promise you, it will change how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself. And then what I did, I'm a crazy person, but hey, I now take crazy as a compliment because my life has changed in wonderful ways. I've gotten to a point now that I was feeling better and better. And somebody said, this is great, and I can see the change in you, but you might want to dial it down a bit because people think you're weird. And I kind of had a moment of, maybe I should. Oh God, yeah, I don't know, what if I lose my friends? And I'm getting a bit preachy, because I can't seem to stop this stuff coming out my mouth. And I had a wobble. And then I got some blood test results back. I had a 23% increase in my kidney function. Now, of course, I called. Hang on. There's been a mistake because I'm a renal patient. They cannot be my blood results. My GFR is way too high. But there was no mistake. I am healing. I'm being healed and made whole by the power of love, by the divine source energy that is available to each and every one of us. Then, in that moment, I went, oh, and I felt the hairs rising on my arms. It flew up my neck and my body. And it was in that moment I went, dial it down a bit because people are going to think I'm weird. Hell no. Oh my God, this is actually a miracle. This is actually the most amazing thing ever. And all that's really changed is I've started doing things that feel good. And it's like, no, I won't dial that down. I'm aware now that all of me, And as somebody, I was calling myself weird and wonderful. And as a friend said the other day, delightfully eccentric me was how she described herself. And I went, oh, I love it. That's just such a lovely, high vibrational way of putting it. And it's like, I have discovered the delightfully eccentric me. And as a result, I am healing. I am not just mentally and emotionally feeling better than I felt in my life. I'm actually physically healing. And do you know why? Because then it struck me. It's the laws of the universe, because when we are vibrating high, the high frequencies kind of negate and cancel out the lower frequencies. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. So those sickness and illness, they're heavier, lower frequencies. They cannot survive in our energy. And I know how crazy this sounds, but hey, sorry, go check my hospital charts. I am healing. So I don't care if people think this is crazy. This is working for me. And if this is resonating with anybody, start tuning into it. Because we do actually have the ability to heal ourselves. And science has proved that with the placebo effect. That's technically kind of the same thing. Because if you think you've got the medicine, you think you're healing. So you start feeling better about, your situation, which means your frequency is rising. So, in my childlike way of looking at life, it's like, well, hello, if it's working, keep doing it. And you know what? It's working wonders for me. It really is. So, no, I'm not going to dial it down because other people's approval and acceptance is no longer needed. I have found a way to remain happy. I don't need my happiness to come from other people. And you know what? In letting go of that, and letting go of the fear of judgment, I'm attracting more and more like-minded people. I'm, standing in a queue waiting to get into a shop, and you strike up a conversation with a random stranger, and next thing you know, you're having this weird and wonderful, almost spiritual conversation, and it's like, oh, me too, and did you ever wonder about this? And it's like, oh my God, I've discovered that. I'm starting to attract more and more wonderful experiences. So when I'm faced with the choice of, I could lose some people from my life because they're not liking who I'm becoming. They're not liking this happier, lighter, healthier version of me. Maybe I should dial it down to keep them happy. Why? Why would I do that? Because look at the enormous cost that would come with. If I was to do that, I now know this. I feel the truth of this. If I was to do that, to please those people and make them feel more comfortable, that's dialing my frequency down from my radio station to their frequency, their radio station. But they're in the fear and the judgment frequencies. It doesn't feel good down there. I lived down there most of my life. Oh, hell on earth, literally. Sorry, I want to feel good. I like this feeling of wellness and well-being. I like feeling healthy. And I appreciate my health and wellness. And I now understand that I have to make me and how I feel my priority. My feelings are now becoming my superpower. And now that I'm tuning into these feelings, I can feel, other people. And, I thought to feel made me weak. But no, it's actually my greatest strength because it has taught me compassion. I now look at people and instead of going, you're miserable, I'm a horrible person, I now go, and I can just feel love for them. And I can hold an attention that I hope you find your peace and your wellness the way I have. Because you know what? If you engage with that, and again, remember, these are frequencies. You get to choose. Do you want to receive those heavier frequencies? Somebody's all, no. They can't hear. You can try and tell them, look, I'm learning this. Come with me. I can't get anyone in a headlock and go, come on, this feels better. I can just be me. Wonderfully, delightfully, eccentric me. And that ripples out because the people I speak to, they're starting to notice. They're starting to rise themselves. They're starting to, what's going on? You're changing. And then I'll answer them. then we end up having these amazing, wonderful discussions. And they all teach me too, because it gets to a certain point when you start feeling better, everybody starts receiving their own answers. This is not something that is unique to me. We all have the ability to do this. And you see, when we're feeling good and when we become aware and aligned with ourselves, we know that when anything feels icky, that's our own soul letting us know there's a better way. Which is why, in my simplified perception of things, I see that as my internal sat nav now. And I now trust that 100%. And, you know, when I feel a dip, if somebody's asked me to do something, you know, or whatever, that, you know, if I feel a dip, it's like, no, I don't want to. I know you mean well. I know your advice as well, you know, is good. You know, somebody mentioned something, okay, now you're going to have to go on YouTube at the same time every week, and, or, you know, set times and set schedules and do plans. And I got that feeling. And it's like, you know what, I appreciate you're actually trying to help me and assist me, because you're looking through the lens of perception of creating a business and things like that. But that's not what I'm about. I'm here because Spirit has guided me to be here. I'm sharing my vulnerability and my authenticity because Spirit, the angels, God, Source, the universe, whatever you're comfortable with, is giving me these irresistible impulses to act and to do this. People have been asking me to do this for a long time. And I was like, no, you know. And the other morning, it just hit me. Now, do it now. And I just pressed the button. You know, I was warming up to the idea of maybe doing it quietly, maybe doing a little video, you know, for like-minded friends, you know, people I know that will understand this straight away. And then when they were pushing me to do this, it's like, okay, I'll just show candles or something, and, you know, I'll stay off camera. And then it's like, no, because that's hiding. That's also being fearful of judgment. That's not standing in your authenticity. And I can't sit here and speak to you about trusting and stepping into your own authenticity and standing in your own truth if I'm going to hide off camera. So again, as scary as it is, I also know it's the right thing to do, because, you know, my stomach didn't feel like it dropped out my ass. Excuse the expression. In fact, the other morning I got the opposite. I got this rush, you know, like in the Harry Potter movie where Harry is in the shop, in Ollivander's shop, and it's like, you know, he gets that, you know, they do brilliant visual where it's like even his hair rises. It's like, I got that wonderful uplifting feeling, uplifting sensation, like a good feeling sensation. And then it's like, oh, I'm really doing this. But I just knew it was the right thing to do. And it has touched a few of you. And I hope that this message finds you well also. And as I like to say to everybody I work with, or everybody I meet, take what resonates and leave the rest. Don't let anyone else tell you how to live your life. Trust your own instincts. I'm just suggesting that you try to tune into your own internal sat-nav. Pay attention to your feelings. Are you feeling good? High vibrational frequency, where law of attraction can bring you everything you desire? Or are you feeling icky in those heavier frequencies where law of attraction is repelling, you know, pushing against you? And again, watch as the magnet, I don't know if I can, what angle to hold this in, watch it turn around and change as it goes back. Whereas when you're in alignment, it just comes straight to you. Ping. It's so important. Your feelings are your superpowers. They're certainly mine. I know I can waffle on a bit and I go off on tangents, but this is me. I don't fit in a category, in a box. I don't fit in as a tarot reader, an oracle card reader, a medium, a channel. I am all of the above and I'm none of the above. I'm simply Amanda. I'm just realising I'm not even going to pull a card today. I can feel this coming to a natural end. And yes, I do use cards. They're wonderful tools to help validate messages. I'm sorry, they're just telling me I don't need the cards today because they are assuring me there are only many of you that have received this message. You can feel this frequency. This is a wonderful frequency. This is the frequency of love. So many of us are running around thinking we're seeking love. We're not seeking love. Love is all around us. We are love. We humans, our souls, we are the frequency of love. Think about that for a moment. It's connection we seek. And again, what is connection? It's coming into alignment with the frequencies. Things connect. I mentioned the 12 universal laws the other day and how I hadn't been doing my homework. I've since done it. I took notes. I'm just going to quickly run through them, share them with you, and then I'll let you go. Number 1, the law of divine oneness. Interconnectedness in all things. So have compassion for others. And again, as I mentioned, when we see people acting out in, lower frequency, heavier frequency behaviors that feel unpleasant to us, let's not be so judgmental and quick to call them names. How about we have some compassion? Because again, we are all one. We are all interconnected. They are we. We are they. I am you. You are me. Everything is connected in the law of divine oneness. Number 2 is the law of vibration. So again, frequency. It's what we've just been talking about. Everything in motion, matter and personal. Frequency. Receiving money but able to hold on to it, that's a frequency. So you get it, but then you're worrying about it going. So, you need to tune into your frequency because, you're working the law of attraction, but then you get worried about it because you're not realizing you're turning the dial down. So we need to pay attention to those vibrations and frequencies. And we have the law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Chaos and fear within equals a chaotic and fearful life without. We create our own realities. So again, what frequency are you emitting? Because how you're feeling is how you're communicating with the universe. And law of attraction just brings you whatever frequency you're emitting. So pay attention to how you're feeling and pay attention to your frequency. Number 4, law of attraction. Hello, my friend. This is the one that most of us are most familiar with. You attract the vibration you put out. Focus on your desires, your hopes, your dreams, not your fears. Then number 5, law of inspired action. So again, that inner nudge, that, irresistible impulse to do something that leads us to our desire manifested through the law of attraction. Because again, we actually have to participate in our journey of life. We are the captains of our own ship. So if you get that impulse to do something, listen to it, do it, act on it. And again, for example, something that Irish people definitely do is say you're at a function. And I know at the moment, lockdown, I'm just talking generally, this is what's coming to me as an example. And, you're really not enjoying it, and every effort you've made to, keep the conversation light and enjoyable and uplifting, there's just so many people so focused on the heavier frequencies that you begin to feel you can't handle it. You really want to leave. Most Irish people ignore that. Again, your soul going, there's a better way, there's a better way. And the better way is to go, love you, see ya, have to go, bye. Because again, how I feel takes priority. No, not here in Ireland. The majority of us will just sit there, shriveling up inside because, no, can't go now. No, they'd be very offended. They'd be disgusted, or they'll all be talking about me in a negative way. If I leave now, they'll be like, where's she gone, ignorant cow? And what happens there? So not only are we feeling ickier in the situation, we then compound it by tuning in even more to how other people might think and perceive us. Fear, judgment. And then we sabotage ourselves because again, we're back down the lower frequencies, calling in more of the horrible, crappy experiences that we don't like. So next time you're in a situation like that, trust yourself. If you're getting that urge to leave, leave. You don't have to apologize. Each of us is creating our own reality. Each of us is walking our own path in life. We have no right to tell another human being what to do. We have no right to insist somebody stays if another option is something that's going to lift their soul. How dare we expect people to let go of their wonderful, good feeling existence and choices just to make us happy? Because you know what? Happiness doesn't come from another. Happiness comes from within. I have finally learned that. And you know, it's not hard. It just takes a little bit of practice. A little bit of daily practice. You start to see this changing. You start to see it happening. And then as you start seeing all these little synchronicities, it starts getting exciting. Then you start feeling passionate about life. You start feeling passionate about everything. And then you start paying attention. You start looking. Every day you get up looking for things to appreciate because you know they're coming. And that is living. That is what life is all about. And for most of my years, I've just existed. I don't want to do that anymore. Now, where was I? See the way I go off on tangents? Number 6, the law of perpetual transmutation energy. Being around, say, people say psychic vampires. You know, the ones that every time you go to see them, you could, like, when you leave, you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. They don't do it on purpose. And again, don't start turning this into the horror movie version of, you know, vampires. It's an expression. It's a frequency to help understand. You know, it's something that drains. And again, if you're feeling your frequency dipping, you need to extract yourself from it. Don't go, you're draining my energy. No, because they're not. But you see, you're tuning into the problems. Those people are down in the heavier, denser frequencies, and all they want to do is talk about how terrible and horrible it is and how scary it is and we're all going to die. And you're choosing to turn your radio dial into their frequency, and that feels icky. They haven't done that to you. You chose to turn your dial into it. You get me? You also have the power to take your dial and tune it back to what feels better. Simply by going, what would feel better right now? And you do it, no matter what that is. And again, little steps. You move up a ladder, step by step by step. I understand it's hard to go from feeling ick to feeling bounce off the wall, full of euphoria and wonder of life. But it can be done step by step by step. I've done this. This works. So, back to the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. You know, being around psychic vampires. But that can work the other way. Higher frequencies transmute the lower ones. So again, you can actually, you know, and again, it's easier to work maybe if you're going into one person. If you come in, if you're vibrating high, if you're feeling good, if you come into the room and you're like, hi, how are things? Everything's great. Things are wonderful. Oh, you're really going to make me use that example. Sorry, they're giving me another example now. Recently, I don't have TV or radio. I turned the radio off. I don't even listen to that in the car anymore. You know, so I don't have huge awareness of everything going on in the world. You know, I can look up a news headline and, you know, I have people that will keep me informed on how things are. That's enough for me. I don't need to be bombarded with it all the time. You know, all that doom, gloom. And as for the soaps, my God, why would I want to put my focus on all those icky, dramatic, horrible events when I can be off putting on nice music or dancing or, you know, doing things that feel good to me. But recently, I saw somebody post the Jerusalem thingy, the dance and song, with a comment about, is it just me or does anybody else feel irritated by this? And I went, what's she on about? Because generally my newsfeed is all positive. So I clicked on it and instantly that was like a catchy little tune. It's like, that kind of feels good. That's really nice. And I thought it was really funny. And I love the little horses, like with the Garda thing when they were going dancing as well. And like, I thought, wow, that was something lovely and uplifting. And I must give her a shout and see is she okay? Because why would she perceive that through a heavier lens of perception? And then my phone rang and I got distracted and with other people and other things. And, you know, I forgot about it. But the next day, another friend happened to mention it again. So here's synchronicity coming in, you know, a message trying to reach me. I need to pay attention. And I was like, what are you on about? And she was saying, oh, you know, we're doing it at work. Have you not seen it? Everybody's doing it. Like, people are at home now and they're getting up and they're dancing and I'm like, what? Hello? What's this? What's this? And that evening then I went and Googled it. And I found the song and the singer and, you know, his story about how he wrote it. And, you know, and then I started seeing all these compilations. So I started playing them. Oh my God. Probably the best night I've had in a very long time, you know, considering all the restrictions. But wow, what a wonderful evening. I was witnessing the polar opposite. And again, think of the magnets, law of attraction. I was witnessing the complete opposite frequency of this whole lockdown pandemic frequency. The fear, the anxiety, the worry, you know. Suddenly I'm watching videos. I'm watching us, human beings, us people, all nationalities, all creeds, different languages, different skin colors, all being united as one. And again, back to the law of oneness. And it's like, I was getting giddy. I was here alone and I was starting to feel euphoric watching, you know, all of this. And you know, it's like the little jigsaw pieces clicking in my mind. And it's like, I'm looking at these people, you know, smiling, laughing. And again, you know, my angels have often been telling me, good to move. We get tension. You know, if we were to come in every evening from work and just turn on a little bit of music, take a few conscious deep breaths, you know, breathe in our divine light energy, breathe out anything that's heavy and holding us down. And sometimes it's just a matter of your body knows what to do. It's not about dancing around like Michael Flatley or sticking to set dance moves that you've been told to do at a dance class. No, this is about just letting your body flow. Let the frequency of your favorite song wash through you. Let the frequency of your own divine energy flow through you. And you move and you sway. And, you know, if that leads to then getting into more energetic dancing, wonderful. Do that and spend your evening doing that. And then you're going to go, oh my God, that's the best evening I've had in a long time. You know, this is how we stumble into these things. I know, I've gone off on another tangent. So, you know, for me, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. So the next morning, I rang my friend. And I was like, oh my God, you know, you posted that video. I meant to ring you the other day. But then I went exploring and I shared my experience and my perception of discovering the Jerusalem song and dance phenomenon, or for the want of a better word. And I was like, it's amazing. It's like the opposite. You know, it's like God has sent this to us to take our focus, to remind us we don't have to be looking at all the icky, horrible, scary, heavy frequency things. Here's something that really feels good. And if we pay attention to it, and then people were getting off their asses. People that have been sitting on their couches for months, binge watching Netflix or playing games or doing whatever, going, yeah, we can't go anywhere. I can't, you know, life's ruined, it's terrible. All of a sudden, they're starting to get off their couches. They're posting videos all over the planet, globally on all the different social media sites. And like, they're smiling, they're laughing, maybe for the first time in months. They're dancing and they're having a crack together. And it's just, oh, sorry, I'm forgetting. I know there's some Norwegian people, I don't know what other nationalities in Ireland, having the crack, having a laugh. We're not doing drugs and we're not advocating doing drugs here. But suddenly, that's what I was witnessing. And it was such an uplifting and wonderful experience. And next thing, my friend turned around and went, oh my God, I never thought of it like that. And suddenly her perception shifted. Do you know, we get to choose how we're at. She was having some other things, and it's not my story to share. But she was caught up in the heavier frequencies. She just needed a little reminding that sometimes there is another way. And it's not about getting somebody on, here you need to cheer up and you have to let go of that crap. No, sometimes just be you. And practice putting your own frequency as priority. Uplift yourself. And then bring that energy to your loved ones. Just be you. Share your own authenticity. Share your own experience, your own wisdom of experience. Share your perception of your reality. Because sometimes that really helps somebody to change their perception also. And as a result, changing how they feel, and changing their reality. Now, and again, that's spiritual alchemy for anybody that's interested. Now, law of cause and effect. What you put out eventually comes back around, the ripple effect. Anger and resentment means you'll eventually be affected. And again, we mentioned that earlier. Whatever frequency you're emitting, law of attraction brings it to you. So pay attention to how you're feeling and what you're emitting. Plain and simple. This is not complicated. It's so simple. It just takes a bit of practice. Now, the law of compensation. Reaping what you sow, you must contribute towards your goal. So where am I called to serve today? So again, that's kind of linked to number 4. Is it the law of attraction or the impulse one, the inspired action? You can't just sit on your couch and go, okay, I'm going to think positive thoughts, it's all going to come to me. No, you actually have to kind of get up and take steps. And, because sometimes it doesn't come in one immediate form. Sometimes it comes in steps, and if you follow the impulse to get up and go for a walk, maybe when you're out on that walk, that causes you to cross paths with somebody who may in turn then strike up a conversation, who may in turn mention something that you've been curious about. You get what I mean? And that ripple effect goes on. We need to pay attention and get up and follow our impulses. Then we have the law of relativity, inclined to compare perspective and perception. We need to just be neutral and have compassion. It is all relative, but again, we're creating our own reality. We're perceiving things how we perceive them individually. And again, you get to choose. How do you, the cat thing's coming in. Okay, so they're giving me a little kind of explanation on that. I used to think I hated cats because I grew up around dog people. Again, it was nothing against cats, but that's just what I grew up. And I heard a lot of people, neighbors or whatever, everybody would always go, send them to say, oh, there's a cat, bloody cat, get the cat, letting the dog out and like, tss. So I thought cats were something terrible, and then a few years ago, a neighbor asked me to cat sit. And of course, I went in and I fed the animal, and then I realized, she's actually a wonderful creature. Why did I think I don't like them? And then it dawned on me, it wasn't my opinion at all. I'd adopted other people's beliefs as my own. And that started making me question, what else do I believe that I actually don't believe? It's not my opinion at all. It's not my perception. And I'm not asking you to take what I'm saying and as gospel. I'm just asking you, take what resonates. I'm asking you, start trusting yourself. Because you know what? We all know ourselves what feels right for us or what's wrong for us. And what's right for me may not be right for you, because you have your journey in life to live and I have mine. But all paths lead to oneness, because we are all one and we are all connected. So, anytime I see a cat, I'm reminded, make sure that when I'm spouting things, that they're actually my own perception, my own opinions, and not ones I've gathered from society and family and neighbours, etc. Just want to think about, what do you really believe about anything? So that was the number 9. So number 10, law of polarity, good and evil, love and fear, hot and cold, all sides, 2 sides of one coin. And again, flip it over. If you're feeling icky, you get to choose. Flip the other side. Go to the other end of the polarity stick. You don't have to be down there. You can rise back up and go up there. You get to choose. It's like that old parable, is it the wolf, the black wolf and the white wolf, the darkness and the light, which one wins in the battle between the two? Whichever one you feed, but you get to choose. Do you want to keep feeding and stay in the heavier frequencies where it feels ache? Or do you want to start reaching for the better feeling frequencies? Because it feels good over there. Really happy and loving and wonderful. Now, law of rhythm, cycles, the moon, seasons, and most importantly, the breath. Our breath has a natural rhythm, but most of us aren't in a natural rhythm anymore. Most of us are stressed and tight, and we're not breathing properly as a result. Conscious breathing soothes and calms the nervous system. It helps bring us back to center. And it helps us tune back into when we're feeling, and that helps us then reach for the better feeling options. And then number 12, law of gender, masculine and feminine. You know, yin and yang. It's hustle and bustle versus just be. You know, yin is the inner energy and yang is the external energy. Yang is the doing. Yin is the receiving the guidance, your own divine guidance, your own innate wisdom. Trust yourself because your feelings, they are your superpower. And you can create a wonderful life you choose. And on that note, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for your time and your patience and for listening to me. And I hope this uplifts you and helps you find some of the happiness and the wellness and well-being that I have found. Just trust yourself because you know what's right for you. Take care.